We just finished the season of giving, and all that getting is stacking higher and higher. It might be time to make life simple and declutter. Welcome Michele Clegg to the chatter.
Welcome.
Michele. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
So, what kind of questions? So, I do minimalization. My
When you say minimalization, what does that mean? You know, not everyone really. It's like the minimalist. You know that shoe where it's hardly got any sole. I mean,
do you know that? It's like you give away all your soul, and you own nothing. It's kind of like you own nothing. I own 12 pieces of furniture.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, you keep it simple.
Oh.
And it doesn't, what's really neat, my background is in interior design. And what's neat about that is you can have a beautiful home with not a lot of stuff. And you can always get away from your things. And it almost like, for me, it really relieves me to have less stuff, less to clean, less to purchase, make it simple. So
I agree. Absolutely. What does that feel like when you go into a home that's just packed? Have you ever gone into a home that's just...
Honestly, I've never really seen well, maybe I just am tolerant because I didn't think it was that bad. But when I go into a home, I think, well, you want it to be beautiful. And unfortunately, the world tells you that it has to be expensive. You have to go and you have to purchase now. And that's just not the case. You can go into your stuff and you can say, well, I really love that. Let's simplify it. And so what's really neat is what I'd like to talk about is like starting a plan. And that's really important when you are addressing your memories, your things that you love. You can keep them, but do you have room for them? Are they broken? Are they worth your time to store? You know, and so when you go into those things, you separate them. And so when I think about how I approach a house, one of the simple tasks that we can talk about right now, because there's lots. I have flow charts that I teach my children about. Okay, let's talk about toys.
Let's talk about toys.
I feel like there's like a special place in hell for mom like me. Sorry. When I go into my kids' closet, I'm like, they're not here. They're broken. They're gone. Let's not think about that. Sorry. And so you go in with a plan. So when you approach your problem, not clothes or something different, but you go into a room and you go in with 4 boxes. Go in for the stuff you want to keep, and if you need to, make a pile of it. Stuff you want to keep, throw away, give away, or put somewhere else. If you don't have a place for it, it's like addressing that, and you have to go in and you have to go through it in your mind. The problem is so many people, when they address that problem, they have to think about memories and things like that. And so you have to get to that point. And unfortunately, that's like the big barrier is you have to get to that point where you realize your stuff is not you. And that's what it was. I had a friend of mine tell me, she's like, I have a bowling ball. That was my grandmother's. And she wanted to keep it. And to me, I think, is it your grandmother? And that's okay that she wanted to keep it. She felt like she had room for it and it was okay. I'm really not the service she needed. And that's okay. But when you want to go into your living spaces, that's important to realize you're going to have an emotional barrier.
Well, I do think that's half the battle. Because you watch some of these shows where people are accumulating all of these things and they associate it to a memory, or I might go back and want this one day or have this one day, and get even a little panic stricken when you start talking about, I don't want to give it away. I want to hang on to it. And I'm kind of that person. Or even, gosh, Bath & Body Works had a really great sale, so let's buy 12 of those and store them away somewhere. Or, you know, and I have another really good friend that's probably more like you, who survived a house fire. And she said, you'd be surprised after the fact. Now she's like, it's constant de-junking. And I'm like, help me get through this.
I was realizing as I was thinking about coming and visiting with you guys about minimalization, and I was thinking about where it really started. And I think where it started for me, so I grew up in Jerusalem. And I was 15 years old, and my parents, it was the late 90s, and the Iraqi situation was going on, and my parents came to me and they're like, you need to pack a run bag. I'm like, a run bag? And they're like, you take what you can. And it was really like emotional. I remember standing in my bedroom thinking, what do I take? And I thought, there's nothing here that's important. I took pictures. I am religious, so I took my scriptures. I took a blanket. I took money, I took my passport, and I was like, mic drop, I'm done. Like, you know, and and all of a sudden I realized everything that I had accumulated in life that gave me value and gave me things, it didn't matter. And it wasn't that, and it doesn't have to be beautiful with stuff.
Right.
And so as interior design, and then when later on in life I went into interior design and I learned about these beautiful things that were large and expensive. And I had a professor and I said, don't you want this for yourself? He's like, no. He's like, I can have everything I want with just living it simply. And so I think as you approach your new year, it's so amazing that you can do that. So
Right.
yeah, you can approach your new year with new ideas, and when you have a problem and you're facing it with a memory, get a plan, write a plan. Say, okay, I'm going to save so much of my child's stuff, or a baby box. I have a baby box. Okay, now I have emergency preparedness. This is how I'm going to deal with it. And as you deal with those individual problems, that's where it is. Like
the importance.
Yeah.
You put your importance in different places.
Start to categorize.
Right.
And so with organization.
So do you have, we both have small children, but for clothes, even though I have boys, I still have accumulated, because I love clothes. And so I think my boys need a certain amount of clothes. I mean,
I actually, for my clients, I set up a list. I actually tell them to pack for 3 weeks.
oh, okay.
I'm like,
and any clothes after that,
just toss it, or not, we'll give it away. Like, you don't want to be wasteful, but you give it away. I always rotate my children's clothes, memorabilia clothes. I have one outfit for them, and I save it away, and that is all. And I
just
leave
one.
it was something that was special. Maybe, and so, because it's not them, and you think about it as your childhood. My mom, I remember her giving me a box of crap. She's like, here. Boom. Here you go. That was your childhood. I'm like, my sister's stuff's in here. And she's like, oh, just go throw it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, so I organize it now. I just have a box. Like, I went into the project saying, this is what I'm saving. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Well, oddly enough, I think we live in a different era too, because I think I probably had the boxes and said, well, here's your stuff. Here's all of your kindergarten and your macaroni necklaces and all the bazillion things that you took with you. But now, with the digital age, even with clothes, I'm much better with my children getting rid of their things because I have a picture somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to save that. I have a harder time getting rid of my own things.
SD cards. Brilliant. Brilliant thing. I was thinking I could do everything in my life in one binder and save, okay, 2016, these are all my pictures. There we go. And I put a little sleeve in it. And then I just start to do our whole life like that. And I have a binder and be like, okay, this was our lives.
Love it.
You know, because in the end, how many people are going to really look at them?
True.
Even scrapbooking is beautiful. I'm like, scan those pages, put them on a folder, put them on a CD, put them on an SD card, and store them properly.
And then put them in the cloud, right?
I love it. That's right. Someone else
We know that you
store it.
helped one of our guys in the studio declutter their home, and we have some of those pictures to share. But how can our viewers, or even one of us, get a hold of you for some help?
You are more than welcome to call me on my business line. It's 435-232-4830. My name is Michelle, and you're welcome to ask me questions. We do consultations. We can do evaluation of your home and go from there.
Are you on Facebook?
We are not on. I have my private stuff, but usually my clients are more
private.
Yeah, they're
that's
private.
right.
We just keep it to them.
Decluttering.
We talk to them about it. But if anybody wants to, we guess we could start one.
Very good. Well, thank you for
you.
stopping
Thank you.
by
That's
and
wonderful.
educating us,
Yes, thanks for having me.
decluttering our lives. We'll be back right after this.